Good evening, viewers, and welcome to part 1 of Remembering the Journey Part 5, Myst 3 Exile. It's been some time since I've played this game, so I have my trusty pen, my trusty notepad, and some scratching noises for while I'm quickly scribbling notes down. Feel free to send through messages. I will be trying to play, well, because it has been some time since I've played this, I will be playing this properly. I have a broad idea of what the answers to certain puzzles are, but for the most part I will actually be having to work them out the old-fashioned way. My other couple of playthroughs of Myst and Riven, well, Myst I've played back and forth so much that I've pretty much memorized every puzzle in that. And the same for Riven, but fortunately with Riven one needs to, they have randomized the codes for that, so one kind of needs to go and find those for themselves. And I actually have uploaded all those to my YouTube channel. Just in case you would like to go and catch up on Remembering the Journey parts 1 through 4. Now, I was able to do Myst and Riven both in 2 sittings apiece. I have a feeling that Exile is going to take somewhat more than that, because the ages are so much bigger in this game. Feel free, if I happen to use some lore-specific terms, to ask me what I mean by things like age. If you're not, if you are not familiar with the Myst universe. So, without further ado, Shora B'Shemti. Peace to you all.
I realized as our group linked back to Dunny that we should not restore the city as we had planned. The once magnificent buildings lay in ruin, testament to the hatred that had consumed them. Too many people had fallen victim to that hate, to the prejudice and greed from which it sprang. Gazing out across the cavern, I decided to write another age, one that would help the Dunny survivors begin again, free from the tragedies of their past. So with my wife, Catherine, supporting me, I put aside that past to write a future. More than a year has gone by since I finished writing Rishon. I have a new daughter, who I hope will someday link to that age with me. And as I imagine Yisha meeting the Dunny, those brave men and women who are building a new life for themselves, I realize I've been given another chance as well. A chance to learn from my mistakes and leave the past behind me once and for all.
breathtaking, isn't it? We call it Tamana. We moved here after Atreus finished writing Reletion. He wanted us to have a new home too. I'm so glad to see you. I told Atreus our paths would cross again. He was just going to grab something for your trip to Reletion, so he shouldn't be terribly long. Unless he decides to check over the whole house first, which means he could be hours resetting all his padlocks. But I know he was looking forward to introducing you to the Dunny, so he shouldn't be terribly long. Why don't you wait in his study?
I'm sorry, the other door.
Now this is the...
You know, this trip is exactly what Atreus needs right now. I haven't been able to get him out of the house for months, ever since he found his journals out of place. But seeing how well the Dunny have settled in on Reletion should help him to finally relax.
This is the first game of the Myst series that has the ability to look around everywhere. Atreus and his team breaking through into Dunny, most likely from post Book of Dunny. Not post Book of Dunny, but during Book of Dunny. That is the descriptive book to the Age of Riven, Gen's 5th age. The age was destroyed at the end of the game. The only way that we could signal to Atreus to come and rescue us. Catherine and Yisha. His sons, Cirrus and Akana. Tamon, thank you for responding so quickly to my request for Nara padlocks. As you know, security in Tamana has become an important issue of late. Perhaps I am overreacting, as Catherine suggests, but the idea that someone may have been sneaking into my study, reading all of my journals, disturbs me. After what happened to my library on Myst, after my own sons, Cirrus and Akana, destroyed so many of my books, I have come to realize how delicate the link is to my worlds. I've never been able to repair those burned books, to link to each age and find out if the inhabitants survived. The padlocks won't change that situation, but they should ease my fear of trespassers considerably. Sincerely, Atris. That's the book to release on. Quite heavily padlocked away.
Well, my friend, I see you found the Relishon book. Catherine tells me you've been here for some time. Sorry if I've kept you waiting. Since we'll be gone a few days, I needed to secure some of my things. And I also wanted to bring you this. It's a journal I kept while I was writing Relishon. I thought you might find it interesting to read about what I'd hoped to achieve, compare it to what the age truly is. Well, just let me get my keys to unlock Relishon and we'll be off. Oh, and I'm interested in hearing what you've been up to in recent months. No! No! Relishon!
Time may be of the essence, but always look at the descriptive panel and see what sort of an age you're about to link into. Gotta find another way into the tower.
Beatrice? Is that you? Come to rescue your book so soon? Not yet, old friend. Not yet.
I always feared this day would come. For years, Catherine and I have dreamed of restoring Dunny. We have dedicated our lives to the task, taking it upon ourselves to locate the citizens of Dunny and convince them to return to their ruined city and rebuild. Our dream has become the dream of so many now, and the progress we have made toward achieving it is something of which we can all stand proud. But I know that it has been a mistake. I know now that it has been a mistake. The city of Dunny should not be restored. It should stand forever in ruins, as both a symbol of our past mistakes and a memorial to all who lost their lives when Dunny fell. The devastating events of recent months, the war on Terranee, the death of Uta in, and the death of Uta in particular, have driven this truth home to me quite forcefully. If we rebuild the city walls today, we are not giving approval to Are we not giving approval to the very illness that destroyed our civilization in the first place? Are we not setting ourselves up to repeat that pattern again in future generations? I have put much thought into this tonight, and have found only one solution. If we, the men and women who survived the downfall of Dunny, are to thrive, then we must break the pattern of hatred which has destroyed so many lives. We must begin our civilization anew, and we can only do that if I write us a new age. I have spoken with Catherine about this, and she agrees. I only hope the others will see it as well. Will these people never cease to amaze me? I thought they would object to my decision. After all, most of them linked back to Dunny specifically to see the city rebuilt. But when I told them why we should not restore it, their response was immediate and unanimous. Whereas yesterday they thought only of rebuilding, today they concentrate solely on salvage. They intend to take from their ruined city only that which is best and move on. Everywhere I look, the enthusiasm for this new task is obvious. It heartens me, even as I face my own monumental contribution. I have written many ages in my lifetime, from my first timid attempts under the tyrannical tutelage of my father, to my most recent accomplishment, Averone. Never before has so much been riding on my skill. The age I am about to write must be all I ever imagined and more. How am I going to achieve it? Catherine laughed this morning when she saw me drudging out my old notebooks. I must have made quite the picture, sitting near the embers of a fire, surrounded by countless commentaries and journals. Some of them seemed more dust than paper, but the hours I spent sifting through them was worth it. Ideas for what this new age might be are tumbling around in my head. There are almost too many to catch hold of. Obviously, I must choose some starting point as my anchor. Writing ages is a science, a precisely structured equation of words. Every equation needs it as its foundation an underlying concept around which the age could develop. In the past, I have written my books around whatever idea intrigued me most at the time. I wanted to discover how the age to which the book linked would manifest the results of that idea. Sometimes civilizations had arisen, sometimes they had not. But whether a society had come to exist in the age or not, it was often in response to whatever concept the book I had written embodied. This time my search for a concept must be weighed very carefully. I already have the civilization I wish to see develop. I know our history as a people, and the paths we have followed to arrive here. Today I must write a book which will link to an age that will allow us to continue on our way, growing ever stronger as one people. What underlying concept must this new age reflect that will... Excuse me. What underlying concept must this new age reflect that will best allow our civilization to thrive? I fear I must think on this some more. It has taken me some time, but I may have found my anchor. It came to me as I was considering what I know about the survivors of Dunny. We have seen so much tragedy in our lives, from the destruction of the city to the suffering and loss of loved ones due to plague and deprivation. Yet even in the midst of these adversities, my kinsman and I have found the strength to keep going. We have tapped into our individual we have tapped into our individual strengths and transformed ourselves into something much stronger. It is a characteristic I have seen in several of my ages, whenever I focused my writing on the inherent energy sources in a world. Long ago, grandmother taught me that no life, no possibility for life in an age, exists without the presence of energy. By tapping into its latent energy sources, an age moves out of stasis. It grows, transforms, and develops. Energy is the underlying fuel that powers all activity. To put it simply, energy powers future motion. Yet, as grandmother also liked to remind me, energy in an age takes on diverse forms. Each one has strengths and weaknesses of its own. How many forms will this new age contain? Which type will its dominant theme be? Tomorrow I will link back to Myst, and from there revisit several of my ages. Perhaps in my own worlds I will discover new ideas. I had almost forgotten how painful it is to revisit Myst. In the 10 years since my sons, Cirrus and Achenar, left me trapped on Kavir Island and burned so many of my books, Catherine and I have rarely linked back. I told myself we were always too busy, first with writing ages like Averone, Then, with searching the ages of Dunny for survivors, I always said we would spend more time on Myst eventually. The truth is, I have been avoiding the age. Seeing the island in its current condition ignites such anger and grief. I am immediately reminded of the betrayal of my sons, as well as the cruelty and greed with which they plundered my ages. I know I am partly responsible for these acts. I constantly wonder if there was something I could have done to reach out to the boys before. Enough! Nothing can change the tragedies of the past. Like my Dunny kinsman, I must salvage what is best and move on. Perhaps in the process I will find forgiveness and hope. Once again, I am back on Myst Island, having completed a lengthy sojourn through several of my ages. The trip itself was not as inspiring as I had hoped. The Selenitic age was especially disturbing, but has it not always been so? The very first time I linked to the age, its uninhabited landscape was shaking with tremors. At the time, I felt it was because the energy of the age was unfocused, as if it were at war with itself. Stability came, but even after it did, I never truly felt comfortable there. I missed the more natural balance of ages like Channel would. Perhaps that is the lesson to take home with me. The Dunny too have faced much turmoil in their history. Their lives have been unsettled enough. Perhaps I should be striving to offset the energy that already exists within our civilization by providing it with a more stabilized environment in which to grow. An environment in which the natural equilibrium of the world serves as a counterpoint to the upheavals of civilization. The more I consider it, the more I wonder if I should make nature the foundation of this new age. Worlds like Channelwood attain equilibrium quite easily, primarily because of one reason. Nature encourages mutual dependence. As one life withers and dies, it provides nourishment so that another might live. Plants become food for other animals, and the waste products animals cannot absorb become nutrients to sustain the other plants. So long as nothing intrudes to upset this balance, nature can maintain itself indefinitely. An interesting metaphor to set as an example for my people. I think I will confer with Catherine on this subject. Her ages always exhibit symbiosis more dramatically than mine. Perhaps she should help me write this new age. I am so tired, I can barely think right now. But I will force myself to stay focused, for I have not written anything in days. The moment I linked back to Dunny, I was besieged with requests for my assistance. Master Tamon wanted to consult over which stonecutters were worth salvaging, and did I think the rock in this new age would be difficult to sound. Oma and Essel needed my opinion about a new history they had uncovered. Should they hold off on starting its translation, or would paper supplies be scarce in the new age? There were so many questions needing answers, I barely had time to see Catherine. She, of course, laughed at my dilemma, saying that I had no one to blame but myself. After all, I was the one who encouraged the Dunny to start over. Naturally, they would look to me to keep them moving in the right direction, unless some other force stepped in to change that view. Her words made me realize a fundamental principle I had thus far been ignoring. All this time I'd been debating whether to make energy or nature the underlying framework for the age. But there is another equation to consider. An age based solely on the future motion of energy will face constant upheavals, most likely at the cost of tranquility. And an age based solely on the mutual dependence of nature can become so balanced over time and may cease to tolerate change. Yet to continue to grow as a people, Dunny civilization needs both. and occasional upheavals followed by periods of balanced stability. I have seen such situations occur naturally on several of my ages. Each time it was because I centered the writing around some dynamic force that I had decided to make prevalent in the age. Such forces allow the balance between forward motion and mutual dependence to fluctuate. As one concept takes precedence, the other recedes until another force surfaces to change things. As Catherine's insightful comment reminded me, dynamic forces spur change. I am too tired to think more on this tonight. Hopefully in the morning my thoughts will coalesce. Catherine surprised me today. Apparently while I was off visiting my ages, she linked to Myst by herself. She did not say so, but I could tell that her visit had been painful. More than ever now, I am convinced we must find a place to begin again ourselves. Perhaps when I have written this new age for the Dunny, I will put some thought into where Catherine and I might live. I cannot believe I did not see it before. All this time I had been struggling to describe the perfect age for the Dunny. I have considered and then rejected several underlying concepts which I felt might best set the course for their future, as if I alone should determine how Dunny civilization will grow. In my own way, I have become as egotistical as my father. In truth, I owe this realization to Catherine. Sensing my indecision about the new age, she led me on a walk around Dunny. Salvaging efforts were well underway, with teams of people scouring the ruined harbour district. As I watched my Dunny kinsmen deciding which parts of their culture to retain, I realized they did not need me to determine their future. They are quite capable of setting its course by themselves, regardless of what age I write. This civilization has opened my eyes to the best way of approaching my task. I no longer need to worry about which underlying concept, energy, nature, or dynamic forces, I should make prevalent in the age. Rather, I must strive to include them all. I must write a balance of systems into the descriptive book. Enough so that the Dunny people will constantly be challenged to attain their ultimate potential. As grandmother often pointed out to me when we spoke about ages back on Myst, balanced systems stimulate civilizations. At last I feel I am ready to begin writing this age. Indeed, I am eager to begin, and have already come up with the perfect name. I know grandmother would have loved it. Of course, Catherine could tell the moment I turned to her that I had finally found my starting point. I babbled on excitedly for some time before I noticed the smile she was hiding. When I saw it enough to grow suspicious, she handed me one of my oldest age books. She must have picked it up when she linked back to Myst. Seeing the name Jananin emblazoned on the book cover, I could only shake my head. The one age I never got around to revisiting was the one that might have helped me the most. How foolish was I to have completely forgotten it. I think after I have finished this work I should take one final trip, if only to help restore an old fool's memories. Okay, now I get what he was mentioning. And have already come up with the perfect name. I know grandmother would have loved it. He is talking about Relishan, and the term Relishan in Dunny translates to the whole, and it's not quite a whole as in just a whole thing. The concept is more like all the smaller parts that combine together to make the one. So rather than being the whole as in an apple, you would consider the whole as being the tree that grew the apple, the soil that the tree grew from, the insects and fertilizer that helped nourish the tree, the weather, the rain, the hands that tended it. All of those factors go into the whole, and it is a concept that Atris's grandmother strove to teach Atris when she was teaching him how to write ages. Way back before Gen had returned to claim him. But enough of this. That journal is done, and it didn't provide the answer that I sought. I should have gone exploring the rest of the room. But first, let me see if bad guy. He's up to anything else. Nope, not yet. I've noticed a flaw in this game, and I severely dislike it. I have done it. I have used his swirling linking book to follow him. I touched my palm to its glowing panel and felt the tingling begin. There was a sudden, sickening lurch inside my stomach, then I fell into the page. This has happened before, I know it. It happened the first time I came to this place, when I followed his murdering sons from Narayan. It happened when I used his hidden books. It happened when I finally opened the machine, right before the fog first ate my mind. The fog didn't find me this time. When I opened my eyes, I was alone in a room. I was standing in the home of my betrayers. I couldn't move. I was afraid. I thought they'd know that I had come and would be waiting for me, just like they had waited inside this very tusk. I was afraid they would tie me up again, that the poison snakes would strike. But the silence was unbroken. The whole house was still, and without really knowing what I did, I started to search every room, every floor, every cabinet. I found his journals, Atris's never-ending journals. I found the book that brought me back to this world, the lesson world he calls Jananin. Oh, Tamara, my love, how long have I been trapped here? How much of my life has been eaten by the fog? The face I see in the lagoon isn't one I remember ever wearing. It's so much older, so much more savage, but it's me. It is Saavedro. And I remember what they did, how they led my people to death. I have returned several times now to Tamana. I am searching for some sign of his sons. I was certain they would run back to their father, but so much time has passed, so many years in which to forget about my people. Is that what happened, Atris? Safe in your beautiful new home, enjoying life with your dear wife and family? Did you become so busy envisioning new worlds that you forgot the ones you'd already created? I must be very careful. I must not let them know that I am free. I will read what journals I can find to figure out where his two sons are hiding, and when I've found the sons again, when I've got the whole family together, I'll bring them down. Atris and his family will suffer, the way I have suffered for years. Cirrus and Akanar are not in Tamana. Every day I become more and more convinced Atris' sons are not there. What happened, Atris? Did you grow tired of them the way you grew tired of Narayan? Did you abandon them the way you abandoned my people behind your shield? It does not matter. I can still take revenge against their father. Now that I am no longer stuck on Jananin, I can avenge all the dead in my world. I have already reopened his other books. I have begun making changes in those worlds, using his own lessons against him. There is still much more work to be done, but eventually I will lure him into this tusk. I will find some way to make him follow me here from Tamana. For now, I will concentrate on the orbiter. It is not a natural part of its world. The material that creates it is like nothing I've seen. It reminds me just a little of the shield, and if it's the same material, it can't be damaged. But perhaps I can damage the other devices. No, it cannot be true. Surely his journals deceive me. He says he's brought them back. He says he's given his dunny brother a new life. But how? How can one man have so much power? How can one man's writings reawaken a dead world? I don't know what this means, and all that is sacred. By all that is sacred, Tamara, what can it mean? It doesn't change a thing. I can still continue as I planned. I can still seek revenge for my people. I will make my enemies suffer. By the weaving, Tamara, this changes everything. I have found a way to reprogram his scanning device. It requires scavenging parts from another mechanism in the tusk, but I think the gears I leave can still be operated by hand. It is finished. All is ready for Atris's arrival. Tonight I will sleep among the ghosts. Then, tomorrow, I will link into Tamana. When I link out, I'll be carrying his book. May the spirits of my people serve to guide me in this. And that is the answers that I was looking for. set that back up. I've got the scribblings of this mechanism, which is handy. Oh. Let's see if I got this correct. Yes, I got it correct. Puzzle 1 solved.
My sons, I promised to teach you the secrets of my ages. This world is the first step on your journey. Search the island, and you'll find 3 linking books. Each connects to an age in which you must live.
Hello, Atreus. Been a long time. Sorry I'm not there to greet you in person, but I just didn't think it would be wise, considering how long I've been stuck here. Trapped in these lesson ages by 2 very greedy little boys. Your sons, Atreus, Cirrus, and Achenar. Of course, they're not so little anymore, not so innocent. I thought a lot about innocence these last few years and what happens when it gets lost. Worried about relation? I have it. Worried about friends, relatives, people you can't get back. I know just how you feel. But if you want to do something about it, you're gonna have to open this device. And there's just one problem. I've changed the 3 symbols that do that. So if you want to reclaim relation, you're gonna have to take your own class. Find the 3 symbols, Atreus. And don't keep me waiting forever.
That's right. There it is. Okay, I always need to invest in a compass for this. Hopefully, those are accurate enough. And this is our materia. I am a fool. I don't know why I'm a fool. Because I didn't get the information that I needed from Jananin. That was cool. I don't think I've ever seen that transition before. Okay, so that is... So one crystal is 4 wood. One metal is 4 crystal. fulcrum. Allows a weight of 2 to be balanced by a weight of 1. Okay, I think that's all the information that I can get out of. And yes, this is one of those moments where my knowledge of the last time that I played the game meant that I needed to gather more information and screw it. Let's go and do that puzzle first, because I hate that puzzle. I love this age, but I've never liked that puzzle. So we have wood, 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 and crystal. Would need to confirm what that 8th is. So crystal, wood, 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 wood. Something? And this one is 4 wood fixed. And I have wood, crystal, metal to play with. So wood is worth 1, crystal is 4 wood, so that'll be worth 4. Metal is worth 4 crystal, so that is 4, 8, 16. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it's either a weight of 11, a weight of 14, or a weight of 26. If the missing 8th is a wood, that's 11, because I can see 6 woods and a crystal. Which the 6 woods are each worth 1, making a score of 6. Crystal is worth 4. And of course the fulcrum Okay, so the weight is 11. So fulcrum in the middle like that means that that's 11, so that needs to be 11. The fulcrum there, that doubles the weight of the left. Which means we're already at 8. Shifting the fulcrum to there doubles the weight of the sphere. Which means that the effective weight that I'm going to make is 22. Okay, so... And I think I've just done it. So we have 4 pieces of wood. So we have 4 already. Metal is worth 16. So that puts us on 20. 21. 22. Drops the ice sphere. Nope. Too heavy at the end. Still too heavy at the end. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. Wait, did I have the fulcrum in the right spot all along? I did, because the fulcrum close to the heavier side makes... Ah! So I feel like my maths in that one is still correct. But now that I've moved the fulcrum... metal, wood, and wood for a total score of 22. Fulcrum there. So 22 equal 21. Okay. This was such a beautiful game back in the day. I got so addicted to this game back when I played it on the PS2. My attempts to produce a carnivorous hybrid have had limited success. I thought I was making greater progress, but the life that grows in the forest isn't like the plants in Narayan. It's much more tenacious, less susceptible to grafts. Perhaps if I try mixing in a species from the swamp? No, it cannot be true. Surely the disables. Yeah, so that's all that's been added. I knew that was the reason that I needed to go back. Focus, Saavedra. You must not let the fog come and swallow you. There are long spells, I think. Days, maybe months at a time when I can't remember what I've done. The fog rolls so thick around me, even if I hold my hand in front of my eyes, I barely see it. I strain and strain and strain, but nothing sticks. I think his sons came to visit us twice on Narayan. The first time, Atris asked me to meet them. He told me they would come through the book. He says they will not understand how your words fit together, but they will use them to open the shield. Narayan, he says, is where their lessons come together. Narayan is the sum of what they must learn. I remember Tamra was carving a spirit mask into the tree the day the boys arrived. She tugs my sleeve to get attention, points at a glide ship in the sky. I am shocked by how young the boys appear. They look so much like their father, yet they are different somehow too. They are more impatient, and they are angry not to be treated like men. I take them to our home. I tell them I will teach them how to care for it. I say, together we will encourage the lattice tree to grow tall. They ask me why they have to work so hard. They tell me, "No, Saavedra, that was later. That was after Atris took them away. You know this because when you see them saying these things they are older. Their faces have become angled and hard. They have grown up into men, and something dark is in their eyes. They tell you they've come back to fix Narayan." Okay, and this one is the fun one, which is, well, for me it was rather simple. Ooh. Sirius and Akana laughing over a fight that they've incited amongst the Narayanese. Okay, so that's where the ball comes from. It comes down here. Comes up to this one, which would be the next, which would be number 2. Let's come up, so follow this path to number 3. Go down. Number 4. Number 5. comes around, turns off, comes around, turns off, comes around, off, comes around, turns off, comes through, and solved. That one's the easy puzzle. There it is. No, not that one. Right. So if I put a pig in that one. Okay, so that's when the peg reaches the bottom. Okay, so that should be launching from there, which goes over to there. Okay, so one is that one, that one. It goes into there. So rounds that one, that one, that one, and that one. 2. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Drops to there. 1, 2, 3. So we need 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drops. Then one more. The memories flood over me too fast. They race around inside my head, filling my soul with despair. And the more I think about how nothing can be done, how no one can be alive outside his shield, the faster the fog rushes in. I can lose myself in the fog. When it's thick enough, I can let go and be safe. I can start to forget. But I must not forget. I must remember every lie they told my people. How they manipulated us all to get what they wanted. They told me they had come to fix my world. They asked me to arrange a meeting with the elders. The books they carried in with them showed other worlds, beautiful places where people didn't have to work so hard to survive. They told my people that Atris had written these books, that he had written Narayan, but that he'd made our world unstable. They said he wanted to make us slaves to the tree. They asked me, "Don't you remember, Saavedro? Our father wrote this world to teach us, to show his sons what an age shouldn't be." I don't know what to say. I don't know how it could be true. But why would they lie? Why would Atris have lied? The worlds they showed us in these books. The elders refused to believe them. They say we cannot abandon the tree. For thousands of years we have tended the lattice roots. Without our traditions we will die. I don't want us to die. I don't, but Cirrus and Akanar said. They said they would come back, Saavedra, just like Atris once said to you as well. He said he would come back, but then he didn't. He didn't, and for that you will have to make him pay. And slowly Saavedra's story gets pieced together. I'm not yet done with this age. There's still more to do.
What's the matter, Atris? Can't remember how things work? Yet you explained this class so well when we first spoke of it in Orion. I want Cirrus and Akanar to learn everything they can, Saavedra. First from Amateria, Idana, Voltaic, and finally from Narayan. When my boys come to see your people, I want them to see Narayan's traditions at work so they can see how civilization can balance an age. Do you know what they did when they finally came to us? You never came back. After class was over, you took your boys away and you never came back. Cirrus and Akanar did.
Okay, so red is the end game. Okay. yellow, comes in here, goes out to green, comes in, goes through and around. No, it hasn't touched blue. It's got to touch blue. It's got to go through blue. Okay, so red. Comes in from green, goes out to green, yellow, blue. Oh, leads straight to the tower.
Not so easy, is it, Atris? Running like a rat through a maze, looking for some sign that'll help you save your world. Is it over here? Is it over there? Is it someplace I can't find? Sirius and Akinar didn't care about saving Narayan. All that talk about fixing instabilities, rewriting the age so that we would be free to live our lives, that was just talk to hide the truth of why they had come. But we believed their lies, Atris. So we abandoned our traditions, forgetting that those traditions were keeping Narayan alive. And when the lattice trees started to die, I followed them here to tell them what they had done. And they laughed. They said they would never fix Narayan. They said that they had already taken everything it had worth saving. So, my dear old friend, Atris, I brought you to this place where your education begins. Find the remaining 2 symbols and then come see what your boys did to Narayan.
Okay. Well, I am going to actually call it there. Because it has been 2 hours. I have work in the morning. It is 11 o'clock at night. So I'm going to call it here, and I have decided that Mondays will be a Myst day. So come back next Monday for the next part of my Exile playthrough. And keep an eye on the YouTube channel as well. And I will upload these there to continue the Remembering the Journey series. And, of course, I will be back. At other times to stream, as I've mentioned that I'm making Mondays into Myst Mondays. I've also decided to schedule Fridays for Final Fantasy. Whether that'll be 14, 16, or continuing my playthrough of the Pixel remasters, that remains to be seen. I'll decide on the night. Actually, it'll probably be either 14 or Pixel remasters, because I kind of want to get back to 16. I have plenty of other games that I'm in the middle of playing as well, so feel free to drop in when you see me online, and we'll see what happens. Okay. It has been an amazing journey already, remembering Exile's storyline, and I've already scribbled down 5 pages worth of notes in my little notepad. Couple that with the rest of the notes that I've made from Myst and Riven, I'm really going to have to get on top of transcribing these into the pardon me. I'm going to really have to get onto transcribing these into the notebook that I have handy for it, which is this one right here. And here's all the notes that I've taken for Myst and Riven, waiting to be transcribed in, and I shall add the Exile notes to this sheaf. Even after all this time, even with all the technology that I use, I still love the hard copy books. Mwah. In no small part because of my love of Myst. Now, I did actually have the thought, while I was reading the journals, that, particularly from here on, because they've, at this point, they had released the 3 books. Well, they definitely had released the 3rd book by the time that Exile was released. Because a lot of what Adris refers to in here for example, the Avaronese is from the Book of Dunny. So if something that I thought of that I might do is I could always find a nice spot to sit in one of the Myst games with some beautiful music, set that as a backdrop, and I could read the Myst books on stream. And that way the people who are enjoying my game playthroughs can catch up on the wider lore of the universe. Could be something that I do before I get to play Uru, which I'll play that between 4 and 5. Anyway, I'm going to get going before I start chatting about something else and get sidetracked even more. So, if you have been paying attention this long, I appreciate your support. I will be looking at doing more things with my Twitch channel very shortly, now that I have finally reached 50 followers. Yay! Now I'm just going to get people to chat. So, until next time, Sharab Shemti, peace to you all. Until next time.